Hey everybody, welcome to Tales from a Professional Nerd, episode 30. Today's a special episode for our 30th episode. Dun, dun, dun. We have a special episode today in the fact that I am going to be interviewing a special guest. Every once in a while I'm going to try and do this whenever I can. We'll see where it goes from there. I've got a couple of cool lead-ins on some people here pretty soon. So either way, I think this is going to be a lot of fun, and I hope you enjoy it. Before we cut to the actual interview itself, which I recorded separately, we are going to talk a little bit, do the Week in Bryan. Super easy Week in Bryan. I've really just been working on Dungeon in a Box stuff. Excited with it. I'm set up some cool D&D arena type things at our local games shop, and put some stuff in motion to start running some regular kind of convention style games at the tier 1 as well. So this has been a pretty motivated week, pretty good getting stuff going. You'll note one downside this week. We got snow. We got like a weird freak snowstorm, and it messed up everything, including a bunch of postage stuff, which means I didn't get my package from Armor Class 10. So this week I do not have a t-shirt of the week to show you and to try and get you guys to go out and see the AC-10 guys and get t-shirts. So I am sorry. But Mother Nature kind of put a kibosh on that. But aside from that, again, it's been just a pretty solid week. Nothing crazy, utterly out of the way. I've been just kind of prepping, doing regular work stuff and prepping for this interview with my lovely wife. So you guys sent in a bunch of really good questions. And I'm excited to see how it goes. So, without further ado, let's take a look at the interview. It's a long one, so keep that in mind. And here we go. We'll see you in a couple. Hey everybody! I told you I was going to have an interview this week, and here she is. Some of my people in the house call her mom. I call her many things, most of which are good
ball and
things.
Chain.
I don't call you the ball and chain, not even jokingly.
In your head.
No, not really.
That's what I call you.
Wait, what? I'm the ball and chain?
Yeah.
Natalie Steele. Also known as Artemis from Artemis Portraits, and my lovely bride. So I promised you guys an interview to talk about some stuff. You guys sent in some really good questions. A few questions I could not ask with any... I don't know how to say this. It wasn't that we're off color. They just would really sound weird coming from me asking her. So next time... Things about whether or not I treat you properly... It would have been to put you in a very awkward position about...
I'll answer, honestly. As a gamer.
Yeah, but I also want to get the answer as a person. I think next time if I get questions like that, I might have a stand-in interviewee for those questions and those questions alone. There was only like 2 of them, but they were weird.
You can have Nori ask.
We have our kids come on here and interview.
Does Dad treat you right?
All right, so basically, if you didn't catch last week's episode, I specifically called out a tweet from Satine Phoenix, who said that there are not enough feminine and female points of view from the industry and from gamers in general, and she wanted to hear more. It turned into like a little back and forth where
I responded.
Where Natalie had said that she's like, I should get on that show sooner rather than later, and here we are. I asked you guys to send in some questions. There was a contest involved. I will draw that name out of the proverbial hat after the interview. But I wrote down everybody's names and questions, and for the people who sent in like 5 or 6 questions, you get 5 or 6 chances to have your name come up on the D20 list, technically D22, because even though I'm not going to ask those questions, they're still going to count for the...
what was the prize?
I
didn't know about a prize, so I didn't submit a question.
Weird to ask yourself a question.
I didn't know I was the person sitting in.
Fair enough. That's because she doesn't watch my videos until far after they've been put out. Just as a side note, question 2B, why don't you watch your husband's videos in a timely fashion? Kidding. Totally kidding. Not going to put on the spot. No, the prize is the guys at Dungeon in a Box. Do you have to sneeze?
No.
What's going on?
So we're in our dining room, and our lovely dogs are next to us.
Oh.
And we have been polluted right now.
Pleasant. So, great. The wonderful people at Dungeon in a Box had me write a spooky holiday special edition adventure. And they made it as a free giveaway for anyone who subscribed to their stuff. Well, I printed one out and got a copy of the map from David at Dungeon in a Box. And I said that was going to be the free giveaway. I'm going to mail that out to whoever's question is the random draw. So,
Getting hooked.
That's the idea. Obviously, give them the first one for free.
Super fun, by the way.
So
I've read some of the...
I've got my handy dandy notebook. It's a Blue's Clues reference. All right,
I'm the one that told you that. So
yes, I was not a Blue's Clues fan.
I say handy dandy notebook a lot, and he kind of looks at me like I'm crazy. So.
Yeah. All right, so I've got these written down. Honestly, just take your time and
be honest.
Yeah, just give the people what they wanted. All right, so are you ready?
If anyone watching gets offended by anything, deal with it.
We are gonna try and still keep it PG-13.
Well, yeah. I just mean
for my viewers. This
is my point of view.
Correct.
I am not speaking for all of womankind. I'm not speaking for all new gamers. Is this just over RPGs?
Some of the questions
get a little... Because I know Satine was talking about RPGs. So.
Some of the questions get a little broader because they know who I am and what I've done.
Okay.
But
I knew it was prompted by Satine, so...
For the most part, I think a lot of the questions talk about RPGs because they know that that's kind of what you've been kind of...
I'm super new to RPGs. Super new.
All right, so without further ado, let's get started. All right, so the first question, I'm not going to say who asked each question because they may or may not want to be attached to it. They know you know who you are. So first question, what overlap, if any, are you noticing between your own creative work and gaming? I've talked about you as an artist quite a bit, so the viewers are aware that you do a lot of artistic type stuff.
I was going to say the biggest overlap would be painting my minis for my characters.
Okay.
I mean, that's the most obvious one. I haven't painted a mini for our newest campaign because I just got it for our second session. Our first session wasn't even the race my character is. So it was sad. Well, it was one of the...
It was one of the Dungeon in a Box skinny minis.
Yeah. So... It wasn't my character, but then I was surprised last session with the character, so I've got a lot of ideas brewing about how I'm going to paint her.
Now, this is specifically for the people who have been watching. This is the family game.
Oh, yeah. So we started a D&D campaign with our kids to introduce them to RPGs, which...
so far, so good.
Yeah, it's going well. They are learning... kind of quickly about what they can and can't do in RPGs.
They'll get there.
Yeah, as an adult, I was a little quicker to learn with my first game, but that's because I'm married to him. So I asked a lot of questions.
Still do.
I do. But no, overlaps. I mean, besides painting my minis, creatively, I put a lot of... When I was younger, I used to write. And I would like daydream about different books that I would love to read and characters I would love to see in books and movies. So I put some of those personalities into like the characters I create for games. One of which I created, but I never got to play. The campaign never started. It did start.
The hazards of the hazards of a popular role player. The games come and go.
Yeah. But yeah, I put a lot of the personalities of how I wish a character would be, or what kind of character I would like to see on screen or in a book that I haven't yet seen. And I put that into like their background stories and stuff. So that's pretty much.
I can add in that when I was still running the Kickstarter campaign for my Seventh Crown setting, you were doing the lion's share of the internal art and things.
Trying to. Before Artemis was started.
Yeah, this was well before Artemis became a thing.
It's kind of like when I had time, which I didn't have a lot of at the time.
Yeah, and I think eventually when we get back to it, you'll probably still be doing a lot of the lion's share of the internals on it.
I don't think I'll do watercolors though. Maybe more digitals.
All right. Question number 2.
Okay.
Do you find that you are mostly known as quote unquote Bryan's wife, or have you been able to establish your own identity publicly, or kind of in like the game store feel, that sort of thing?
Oh no, I'm Bryan's wife. Nope. A lot of the times with our friends too. Well, not like our friends, but your gamer group of friends. With most of them, I'm Bryan's wife. In all honesty, there's not a lot of contact outside of Bryan.
Do you think that changes at the gaming table? That was not part of the question. That's me adding in.
No, not. Well, it depends on who's at the gaming table.
Okay.
Different groups, differently.
Okay.
I mean, without like naming names and throwing people under the bus, there are people that are, yeah, we interact very well, and there are others that don't make much of an effort to either get to know me or my motivation with characters in gaming or outside of gaming. So it just is. I'm not in the gamer group. I'm not the gamer girl.
Okay.
So there's not a lot of motivation there. So
this is probably my favorite question. Both like, I think just kind of wanting to know what the answer is. What make-believe games did you play as a kid?
Oh goodness. I'm really glad he probably doesn't watch this. With my, I guess it wasn't just brother from another mother, because it was the whole family. So growing up, I had 3 moms. Not actually 3 moms, but like my mom and her 2 best friends, and their groups of kids. We were all family. So my second mom's kids, we would always be at their house and we would always play like our form of tag. It was kind of cops and robbers, but the robbers didn't really, our purpose wasn't to steal anything. It was just tag. And if you were captured by the cops, you would be put in jail, and the other robbers would have to break you out of jail. And it's very different when you have a crush on one of the kids play, because your purpose isn't to break out of jail. Your purpose is to get tagged.
Get tagged. Yeah.
But no, make-believe games. didn't do a ton of make-believe. We did a lot of tag. We did a lot of freeze tag. I was super active as a kid, always on the playground, always rollerblading, riding my bike everywhere in the apartment complex. We'd always jump the fence over the apartment complex to go, like, Osco. We were just always active, and so when we'd play, it was always, like, with our Barbies or the original My Little Ponies. Original, always best. Original Care Bears. Those were my jam. I still love Care Bears, the original ones, because they turned Funshine into a boy. And she was my favorite. So when the new Funshine came out, to be press her telling me a boy's voice came out.
I think it'd be cooler if it was like a super deep man's voice. Hey, I'm Funshine Bear. What's up?
It was a deeper boy voice. You could not mistake it for a girl.
Care Bears stare, baby.
I still have the original movie. I have the movie. It's over there. I also have the director's edition of episode 1.
Man.
But yeah, no, I played with the stuffed animals. Me and my friends would have weddings with our stuffed animals. Like, we'd put on like a Kleenex.
So not specific make-believe games, but just you had a lot of imagination going on.
Oh yeah. Okay. Our characters were everything. I had pet rats. I had one, my sister had one, and we would play with our rats.
Like pets, not like,
Well, yeah, we didn't like throw them around or anything.
Well, no, I meant like they weren't like rats from outside.
No, they were domestic rats.
Okay, just making sure.
So we had those for a while, and
found the neighborhood
super smart, could break out of their cages, and we'd always find mine in my sister's room, and my sister's in my room. And hide and seek was great. I was great at hide and seek. I'd hide in the dryer, or I'd hide like up in the closet. My closet had like a shelf in it, but it was tucked around the corner, so I'd hide like in the very top around the corner, and my sister was too short to find me, so I could hide for a long time.
Alright.
Yeah, not a ton of make-believe,
cool,
because it wasn't all in my head. Make-believe came in like junior high school, when you have crushes on boys that don't know about you.
It's a different kind of make-believe games.
It is, because you just sit there and you're like, oh.
Number 4, what has been your favorite gaming experience so far?
As far as RPGs?
They left that very open.
This is kind of a plug. I love T-Turtle. T-Turtle is a thing.
One of our cats is trying to investigate. Do not.
Come here, baby. This is one of our favorite.
You're about ready to meet Larfleeze.
Come here, baby. This is our new DM cat. So our first DM cat passed away. He's got a meme too. You might see him in a couple memes.
You've probably seen them before. So, yep, guest star. Here we go.
Here we go. Oh, okay.
All right. No, so that's Leary.
Yes, this is Lear.
I call her Larfleeze. Yes. And
we named her Leary to mess with people because you can't spell her name.
She's a super nice cat, and she's going to be here. Hopefully, I'll be quiet.
Yeah. No, I love T-Turtle. So Unstable Unicorns, when that came out, was the cutest thing ever. I love their illustrations. They're great. As far as role-playing goes, your 7th Crown game. I miss the world. I miss the game. I miss the original crew. The original crew, in my sense, is the first group that I played with. It was my very first D&D campaign ever, so I'm glad I got to play in Bryan's world. But I loved it, and unfortunately everyone's schedule just kind of got screwed up. We lost one player, and then lost another, and
real life
we lost us. And losing us, he's the DM, so kind of lose the game. But honestly, the very last session, it kind of got ruined for me with that group. Everything kind of imploded. Yeah, we tried carrying on with my character in the second group. My character kind of joined up with the next group because he had 3 groups going in the same world at the same time, and I'm not sure how well she fit in. But we also haven't played that in over a year. So.
Yeah, that kind of fell apart too. It's just you guys understand this. Gaming groups come and go, and sometimes it's
people get lives, people get different schedules.
Yeah, just things get.
It is what it is.
Drama happens, and you have to move on. So, well, I appreciate that. I too, this isn't my interview.
Star Wars too. Like the Star Wars game was good, but so far, it's like finding when we were looking for houses up here. This was the first house we looked at, and we looked at a bunch of other houses and kept coming back to this one. I've been doing that kind of with the RPG games. I've played other RPG games with other groups in your world. Now we're in another world with the kids, and yeah, we're only in session 2 with kids. So I can't really judge on it a lot. But we have the Star Wars group. We had the second campaign in your world. I love my first character. I love her a lot, but I loved the group I was in the first one. The characters meshed really, really well.
Yeah.
We were all kind of on the same page. I wanted to see where the story went. And I don't think you're ever going to tell me where it was going.
Question 5. Do you find being a woman to be a boon or a drawback? All right, let's try that again in English. Do you find being a woman to be a boon or a drawback in gaming?
Drawback.
Do you want to expand on that or no?
I mean, it sounds kind of cliche, I think as a girl we'll get a lot of flack for it anyway, but a lot of us can and do say this is girls aren't real gamers. You're not a real nerd. Men don't have a monopoly on gaming. They don't have a monopoly on being a geek or a nerd. When me and Bryan got married, he brought out the nerd in me. But that's not to say I wasn't one. I just, prior to meeting you and feeling at home expressing it, it was kind of told to me, stop being that way. Gotcha. I'm not comfortable with you being weird. Now, that is to say, I'm not a tabletop gamer. I don't get it. I don't get having... You got it. You hate school and you hate math. You carry around a ruler and a protractor. You carry around more mathematical and engineering equipment than an engineer. For tabletop games.
No.
I've asked you about them. I've watched you play them. I get it.
And now
I can't stand around a table 6 hours.
Now by tabletop, you mean like our mini wargaming?
Yes, sorry. Okay. Miniatures.
Okay.
Miniatures gaming. That's what I meant by tabletop gaming. I can't stand around for 6 hours doing that. I have trouble when Monopoly lasts more than 2 hours.
It's because Monopoly is a terrible game.
I don't think games should be designed to last more than 2 hours. If they last more than 2 hours, either there's something wrong with your game, or you're spending way too much time talking. Now, that's not to say if you're having a fun, great conversation and you're drawing it out and it's not bothering you that it's taking so long. If you're enjoying the conversation while you're doing it, yeah, fine. Trivial Pursuit takes a really long time. Most people have fun if you're drinking while you're doing it. You said PG-13, but still. If you're over 21 and drinking while you're doing it, have that. But if you are just sitting there playing the game how it's supposed to be played,
asking and answering questions, just grinding through the pie.
Oh my god. I love Trivial Pursuit, but oh my god. Monopoly. It depends on who you play with. But no, as a girl, I think it is considered a curse to be female when you're gaming. And a lot of girls find it the same, because if you're really great at it and guys are attracted to you and you can prove your knowledge, and the key word is prove, then you are the gamer girl. If you don't fit those qualifications, you get so much hatred and catch so much flack for trying to be the gamer.
Gotcha.
And it's all a Yoda thing, do or do not. There's no try. You are either a gamer or you're not.
Yeah.
And
are you
if
playing
you
games?
enjoy playing games,
you're a gamer. Yeah.
And again, I'm talking about, hands-on gaming, not video gaming in this sense. I'm not a gamer with video games. I suck at video games. I enjoy watching them. If they're pretty and well made and I don't get seasick or motion sick with them, I enjoy watching them. But
this actually kind of leads into the next question. Do you think you would ever have become a gamer if it weren't for Bryan's involvement?
I used to love playing board games. I had a lot of them. Growing up, I played games a lot. Cards were huge in our family. Growing up, my mom's side of the family, every family get together. I don't even know how many decks of cards my grandparents had, but our family get-togethers were at my grandparents. And you always got a deck of cards out of Grandma and Grandpa's dresser. It's like the only time you ever really went into their room. And there wasn't an underwear drawer or sock drawer that you got them out of. It was top drawer, you opened it, and it was just, here's poker chips and decks of cards. And they were marked euchre decks and
Like
decks.
regular decks.
Because they already had the euchre decks already set up and split out, depending on what you were playing. My grandpa even came up with a game that is actually a game now. It's sold in stores. I don't even know what it's called. But it's sold in stores. It has like a board and you use poker chips with it. But my grandpa came up with that and apparently people liked the idea and so they sold it to somebody. But yeah, we did House Rum, which my whole family hates, but we used to sit down and play anyway. Which is a weird game. It's like 7 rounds. And
So with things
we
like...
were a card gamer, and then I marry him, who's from Indiana. Doesn't know how to play euchre. Doesn't like euchre. There's a problem with that, because I became a Steele in last name and in family. I love his family. He has not yet... He has become a day, which is my side of the family. He has become a day through, like, family reunions and meeting that side of the family. He has yet to sit down and play euchre. And, so he's not a day yet. How many years have we been together?
A while.
Yeah. So I have not been like a gamer. I had never done RPGs. I don't think I'll do tabletop gaming. I love the minis. I want to paint them. They're sculptures to me. I think they're beautiful art. I would love to paint them. I want to get better at miniatures painting. I don't have time to sit down and paint most of the time. Well, right now I do, but I don't. So, yeah. Got other stuff to do in my free time, but I don't think I'll ever do like tabletop miniatures gaming. I think board games are my thing, and I would like to do more RPG games, but RPG games I know are suited to me. I don't know if... I don't even know what some of the games that you play.
There's a bunch.
But you tell me about them, and I sit there and I'm like...
Yeah. Alright.
I'd like to play like some type of John Wick style. Like...
I'm not sure if that was in camera or not.
Yeah.
Okay.
Clearing. I'd like to do like some sort of like John Wick world RPG. I think it'd be great to do some sort of hunting assassin.
I concur. I think that
I want to be a sniper who can kill anybody.
An actiony kind of over the top John Woo style role playing game. I think has got its feet out there somewhere. Just gotta figure out where it is.
Oh, I just want Keanu Reeves here.
Number 7. You gotta try and get through these. What is something?
I talk a lot, so...
Which is fine. This can be a long video. It's fine. What is something that makes you uncomfortable during games that might be easily overlooked?
Personally, I have found, I know RPGs are playing characters that aren't necessarily you. However, I think some people overlook the personal feelings of the players when it comes to some of the things that characters say and do. In any and all situations, I don't like blatant, like, aggressive and or violent racism. Even if they're made up races. I don't like it. It gets me upset to the point I will leave the room, and I'm a big crier. I can't help it. I will leave the room and cry. I don't sit there and cry at the table because that's embarrassing for me. And I don't like explaining why I'm uncomfortable, because a lot of times, and even when it's not in gaming, just someone like making up a story, or if I'm reading a book and it's just super violent and like it's a good book and it's just describing it so realistically and so well, I'll have to close the book and take a moment. And I've had people respond and they're just like, this isn't even real. Like, this isn't my feelings. This isn't, this is pretend. And I sit there and go, but it's extremely realistic. And with RPGs, if it's pretend, why be so graphic about it? Or how can you be so graphic about it? It's, I don't know. I could never play a character that has an underlying moral or ethical response like that and play that character honestly and true if I didn't have any of those feelings.
Yeah. So
if someone can play that character, like, realistically and honestly and not have any of those feelings, it's weird to me. It's got to be super redacting, which I know people do. I mean, you have people in movies that play stuff like that all the time. But again, I'm new to role playing.
I did an episode.
It makes me uncomfortable.
A few episodes back that was talking about Monty Cook games. They did a consent Monty Cook. They did a consent form, basically this is the stuff that you're okay with, this is the stuff you're not okay with, and I did a whole episode on it because as a community, gaming has I'll say evolved. A lot of the newer gamers, a lot of the old grognards out there are like, if you can't handle it, get away from the table. Mm-hmm. But the newer generation of gamers really they're more accepting of those sorts of feelings, and
I remember you telling me that. I didn't know what game that was.
That particular company put together this sort of system agnostic forum.
Yeah, you sent me the read on that, and I thought that was great because you have people nowadays, you don't know a lot of what their triggers are, and for some people it can be mentally harmful and traumatic. You have a scenario that involves rape, and if you have someone who's been through that experience, especially if it's still raw, get up and leave a table.
Yeah.
And you have no idea why. That could be the reason, and you'll never know. Because they won't return. And they might never play that game again.
There was a game master that was running convention games in the UK that got thrown out of the convention because he ran a very questionable content game. That the information got back to the convention. They're like, he won't work for us ever again. And I think something easily done, taking 10 minutes out of your life, especially at a convention game where you're only meeting these people for the first time. I think taking 10 minutes and going, yeah, exactly, and being like, hey, everyone, just jot down what you're not okay with. Effectively, this form
here's a check mark. Don't do this. I'm not okay with this.
And if you look through it and go, okay, well, they're really not okay with. Okay, this seems weird. Drowning goats, super weird. But if they're not okay with it, I won't include it in my game. This guy, he's way, I got to worry about him. He's way okay with goats on fire, but, not drowning goats. And so I'll keep that out. Not to make light of the situation. It's just, I'm being very, very flippant because these are the things that you never know what could be someone's demons, So I completely agree.
Yeah. The whole rape culture thing, I've never had to experience it with RPGs. It's never been a thing. You've been my GM in the games that I've done, except for one. Riley's game which I want to play again. Riley. Hey, I threw someone on a bus.
Yeah, that's all right.
Rhymes with Smiley. But there's. It hasn't been, X-rated content or NC-17 type of stuff. I mean, you might have some R-rated stuff, but we have dealt with, different races and, different characters, racism on things, I hate goblins, da da da. And that's fine, this character hates goblins. Okay. I get that. It's when they're aggressively racist about it, and then they start talking about it, and they start saying, well, I do this. Because, goblins are, and then they go off about it, and then I sit there, because it applies so much in real life, especially now. You sit there and you go, this isn't okay. You and I have had talks about kind of, nothing's black and white. There's always gray areas, but I have considerations in morality and ethics where not everything has a gray area for me. There are issues that are black and white, and if you're not on this side of this issue, we're done. We haven't had issues with rape in any of the games I've played,
generally speaking,
child murder and torture.
Yeah,
I have issues with those. I haven't been in games with that.
Generally speaking, if
I've watched those with movies and read them in books where I'm like, I need to pause and take.
Yeah, me personally, when I run a game, if I run a game that is going to have a rape plot or torture plot or something along those lines, more often than not, it might be alluded to and it might be mentioned, but it will never be on camera. It's just not my. I'm not necessarily comfortable playing those roles, even if it as a narrator.
Sorry, we have a doggo down here.
Yeah,
I'm not just staring at my lap.
Yeah, one of our mutts is visiting us.
We have my doggo. He's resting.
Question number 8. We gotta get through these.
But you said
it's gonna be a long video.
Editing.
This question hopefully will not come back and bite me. What's it like being married to someone so deep in the industry?
It can get tough at times. Bryan is in his office a lot. Sometimes to the detriment of anything not in his office. I think while he has a clock in front of him, he forgets that other things are outside the door. Not to say shirking responsibilities or anything. I just think he thinks I have stuff handled, or other things are lower on the priority list. I have to get this done. Deadline. I honestly, right now, you're a freelancer, but you're mainly with a couple companies, but I kind of liked it better when you were with one company, because then he was pretty much steady, I'm from this time to this time. Right now, he doesn't clock in or clock out. He's pretty much 24/7 on call. Whenever he chooses to walk in the office and shut the door, he's there. So it gets hard a lot. because I'm home right now too, and I have stuff I have to work on too, but I don't have a door to shut. And we've got kids and dogs and cats and
as you can tell by our visitors,
other things to do in the house, and our kids aren't yet to the point where they can run their issues by themselves without killing each other or burning the house down.
Question number 9.
Oh, you're skipping over that one.
Yeah, we're good.
Oh,
Unless you have more to say. I don't want to...
Oh, no, I was pointing to you about the burning house down.
Oh. One of my fears, one of my deep set fears is having the house burn down. Whether or not I'm in it, out of it, it's just
I meant about...
no. We're not gonna discuss.
Nope, then let's just skip over it and go.
We'll mention. I screwed up last week, and my fears became very out in front of my face, and I was very, very upset for a little while. All right, so number 9. How does the RPG community compare to other hobbies in terms of being welcome and inclusive? Now, this question, I didn't skip this question because you haven't done a lot of like out in the RPG community, but you do see some of it because you follow Satine,
No, and well, honestly, when we were at Gary Con in March, you ran a couple games, and it is very inclusive. People you don't know sign up for games that any GM is holding, and they sit together and they chat. Now that seemed to be more for the open gaming, when more of the higher tier gaming was there. It is inclusive, but it's the higher ticket holders, and they seem to, what you had commented on is, it's always the same people.
There's a little more pay to play.
While it's inclusive, anyone can do it, technically. It's always the same people that are doing it, and you just have the other people watching them. Which I wish wasn't the case, and I think you told me that they're changing it this year.
Gary Con has changed it dramatically,
which I am glad about, because it gives other people access to be able to play those higher tier games, those more limited games, the ones that are, I really want to do this. But as far as like the open floor, even with Gen Con, with the role-playing games, everyone sits down, everyone seems to have a good time. You don't know most of the people there. They don't know you. You might not ever see them again. Why be aggressive about it in the first place? You are there to game and have fun. Awesome. That's it. So as far as out there, I haven't sat down to any games just because I am super self-aware. I have never been super confident about myself or my abilities. Even when we game with our friends, when we do RPGs, I am not in character. I tell you what my character is doing. I am not my character. So you won't ever hear me talking with a voice, really. I've started, but we're with our kids. I'm always weird with my kids. It embarrasses them. It's super fun. So right now, my Dragonborn has kind of a Russian-Polish accent because I wanted something strong and tough because she's giant and breathes lightning. So, yeah, Russian-Polish. There you go. But I won't do that around people I don't know.
Okay.
I won't do it around your friends. David, I don't count David's family. He's like the little brother that I never had, so.
This is a really kind of a flat question, and I don't know. I included it because it's an interesting question, but I think that as far as the answer. It might be a simple answer.
Okay.
What attracted you to RPGs?
It's group storytelling. It's not just, it's kind of like writing a book, but it's not just you doing it. It's kind of like spitballing ideas, but you're not spitballing. This is what's going on. And I like that. I even told you with Seventh Crown, like, if you totally wrote our adventure, that'd be awesome. Our adventure didn't end, but
the adventure never ends.
We can continue it sometime, guys.
Question 11. I think you already mentioned this earlier, so this might be another easy question. Is what is something that you'd like to you'd like to see in an RPG experience, but you have yet to find?
In my own personal experience, I would like to see a little more paying attention to newer players. I've only ever played with experienced people. I mean, right now we're playing with the kids.
So with the exception of the family game, because that's a
new thing. We're only 2 sessions in anyway, and shy of David, we're all new. So
yeah.
But being the new person, there's a lot of talking over. So you just kind of sit back and watch everyone else go. I'd like less of that.
Okay. I'm noticing, from outsider looking in our family game, that the roles are reversed. We're seeing a lot of the adults talking over the kids. And I think that we need to pay attention to the fact that they are new players as well. Yeah.
I think a lot of that probably can help outside of the game, too, is some of what I've noticed as a player with the kids game is that the kids aren't quite sure of what the rules of a player are.
Yeah.
And I don't think we explained that to them.
Okay.
So I think just sitting down before the next game and just being, so here's something characters can and can't do. Here's something players can and can't do. Here's like the notes passed to you.
Yeah.
This, I had explained to them, hey, here's some Post-its. If you need to pass a note to the DM, it needs to be regarding your character, like maybe your character's background or something. And they took that to mean, oh, well, my character's wanting to ask questions to interrogate this NPC. But the whole group of characters was interrogating him. So it wasn't supposed to be secret, and they weren't quite getting that. So stuff like that, explaining that prior to gaming is probably a good thing. And I know from my perspective, because I know you hate it, I ask a lot of questions out of character that I just don't get, and a lot of it's probably just my OCD and my personality of being a font of useless information. If I'm curious about something, I want to know the answer to it, and I'll look it up. But being on our phones during RPGs is not the greatest idea. It seems like you're not paying attention, and you miss out on a lot of stuff if you are. But
okay.
But that's one thing I noticed outside of our family game, because the family game, like I said, or like we were both agreeing, it's kind of a new beast.
Yeah.
We're playing with kids that
have never played before,
yeah. But it's also, kids have a different way of thinking entirely. But yeah, it's just depending on the personalities of the people you're playing with and how long they've been gaming, it can be really overwhelming for a new person. Okay. They can get drowned out very easily. And do. I've even noticed that in open gaming.
Yeah.
When we were at Gary Con, and I just kind of wandered around while he he was DMing and he was doing his games. I paid attention to some of the games that were going on, and you hear someone go, "Oh yeah, this is my first time. My boyfriend brought me here, or I'm here with my wife. So I thought I'd jump in on a game." And then they sat there, kind of quietly the whole time, while everyone who's like all into gaming is like really into it. No one asks their character's opinion. No one. I don't know if no one cares, but they don't know how to treat it.
Yeah.
You have someone new in gaming, so you just kind of let them observe.
Okay. This is another one of my favorite questions. This next question.
Okay.
Do you feel that women in a gaming group suffer or otherwise benefit from the white knight syndrome in many male gamers? The reason why that came up was actually part of another thread that popped up in one of the role-playing groups where gamers tend to be, I don't say antisocial, but they don't tend to be necessarily outgoing in other social circles. They tend to be very, very...
they don't tend to excel at it.
Yeah, I mean, that's not to say
outside of their gamer circles.
That's not to say it's a hard and fast rule.
No.
I am a social butterfly. But there are a lot of male gamers that they get a woman at the table and they want to champion them. Like they want to be like, I want to protect them. I want to do this. Do
they
you
either want to
feel
champion
that
them or they want to show off?
Yeah,
It's usually one or the other, and it's very strange.
So I thought this question was really.
It all depends. Honestly, it depends on how that person sees that woman.
Okay.
Are they attracted to that woman? If they are, a lot of times I have seen them do that. They do want to be the champion. They do want to show off. Or they want to fight alongside them more often than not.
Okay.
Their character isn't going to let their character be over here fighting someone and their character is over here fighting someone. Gotcha. They are going to be fighting side by side, back to back. We are going to be fighting together.
Okay. All right.
I've noticed if you are not attracted to the girl at the table that is playing, you tend to leave them alone in battle scenarios.
Okay.
You let them do what they do. And in all honesty, at least what I've found out with the groups that I've gotten to battle with, and actually battle with, is they find it really awesome. As they're like, holy crap, your character... Sorry. They're like, oh my god, what your character did was totally awesome. That was amazing. They don't do that with girls that they are attracted to.
Okay.
They don't tell them how awesome their character was saving another character or doing that. It's we were a great team, or it's stuff like that. It's they're talked about different ways.
Okay.
So I think it all depends on how the player feels about the female player.
This one's a good one. He says with a smile.
Yeah, you have said that about half these questions.
So
I think you picked the questions because they're good questions.
No, I picked the questions because they're the ones that were sent in.
Were these all the questions, or did you narrow them down?
The few that I didn't feel comfortable asking got cut. Do you ever feel pressured to game because of your relationship?
I don't feel pressured to game. I feel like others are pressured to invite me.
Okay.
Because I am Bryan's wife.
Which goes back to earlier.
Or that you are pressured to invite me. Or not invite me because you know I don't like a certain type of gaming
going on.
without, like it's gotten to the point where, oh, well, she doesn't enjoy tabletop minis. And then, like, all of a sudden one comes out where, these druids are battling and they have wolves. And instead of, oh, dude, she really might like this game, it's, oh, she hates tabletop miniatures, so.
Gotcha.
So, you'd be more inclined to just not invite me to play, rather than considering what the game is.
Question 14. Do you feel like some kind of girl gamer commodity when you play at a game store? Now, I included this. I don't know if you've ever come out and played with us at the store.
I haven't played at the store.
Okay, so what is your opinion on...
I haven't played at the store. We play at the house, so...
Yeah.
I've never felt like a gamer girl.
Okay, it's just never
I've always been your girlfriend or wife, so...
Okay.
Prior to that, I didn't game.
Gotcha.
Like, group game like
Okay.
that, so...
That's an easy question, then. Question 15. When role-playing, do you feel that your character ever gets targeted for romantic plot lines because you're a female?
No. Although I haven't had that many RPG games.
I have a feeling where that question
I've
came
never...
from the person who gave that question. I have a feeling that she has dealt with that lots of times. So...
First of all, I haven't played a lot of RPGs. Secondly, I don't play my characters that way. The first game, my character, the background that she was already searching for somebody. Because he disappeared. But my characters tend to be very independent and... no, don't do that. Like, that's very much like...
Okay.
That's not to say, I mean, my character, like, my first character, Corona, that was the first game, or RPG game character, she was already searching for someone, but she was still perfectly comfortable with herself. She was perfectly comfortable with physical companionship, because it had nothing to do with her emotional tie at all. But there was no romantic necessity to anything, and the campaign that we were in, A, there was no time for it, and B, there was no need or want
That's always
for it.
That's always something I've found, is that most D&D games, there's not enough downtime between sessions for that kind of interaction anyway.
And that could be with your... I don't know. I in the games that I've been in, there hasn't... The DM has... Or GM, I should say, because it's not always the DM. The GM is already built in what the downtime's for. What's where are you between... Mm-hmm. Battle interactions and experiences. And for the most part, we've been gaming with friends, so it would just feel unnatural to me to flirt with a friend. Whether real or not, it just seems out of place.
Okay.
I mean... We're not in the middle of war, so you don't have that, oh my god, we both just saw, like, our whole unit die, and you're the only one I have, and this is just, we need this physical connection before we lose everybody. It's not, you don't have that, and you don't have the downtime to be like, I kind of like you.
Yeah.
I like the way this is working. But, like, Corona, I mean, you were DMing, we had a Dragonborn, well, he wasn't the captain, was it first mate?
Bosun, yeah.
Bosun. There was a Dragonborn bosun on a ship we were on. My character is, Corona is a half drow, druid. Was perfectly comfortable with flirting with him. Tried a couple times to get him into bed just because physically just...
Small ship, long trip.
What? I guess... No, but it wasn't even a long trip. It was just... He was there. Her personality was she's very much in touch with the earth. She's very much in touch with nature, and beings and creatures are part of that. So being in touch physically and mentally with things that she connects with is just part of what she is. She just happened to be emotionally attached to somebody that has disappeared somewhere. So she was more than willing to, and tried to have the bosun who turned her down. She's like, okay, well, whatever. She flirted with others. She used pretty much whatever she wanted to be like, well, you're more than welcome if you want. And I think other characters in the game just kind of looked at her like, really? Or what? But you're a drow. Drows aren't like that. And didn't realize that, oh, a drow, but she's a druid. And it was just kind of an out of place thing that they hadn't experienced before, so.
Okay. Alright, this one is a pretty open question, open-ended anyway. If there's anything that you want to say to new gamers, especially women, what would it be?
As far as my experience has gone, no matter what your character is or their personal backgrounds or situations, play them strong. Whether they're independent or not, commit to them. Don't be wishy-washy with your characters. Don't change them as you go. But I like making my characters self-reliant. I think it makes them easier to play. Especially in role-playing games, when your character is self-reliant, you get more of a chance to play your character. If your character is a little more dependent, you're going to sit there a lot and watch and hear and listen to the other people go. And when you try to speak up and be more independent, you're going to get drowned out a lot more. And sometimes that happens even when you are an independent character, is you'll get drowned out. So just keep doing it, and hopefully sooner or later they'll be like, oh shoot, she's talking. But that's been my experience. So.
And then our last question, the golden question, if it were. On a scale
of... The D20?
A scale of 1 to 10, how awesome is Bryan?
Was this your question?
I may have submitted a question.
You can't win the game, though.
I can't win the game. I'm just kidding. You don't have to answer that. That was a joke. All right.
So what was the D20 question?
No, that's what I was saying. That was just kidding. That was the...
Wait.
I have not determined who's won yet. I have to...
No, but was that the 20th question?
That's the last question, yeah.
Oh. Wait, the how awesome or the other one I answered?
The first one you answered. The 1 to 10 awesome. I don't need that answered. I know I'm a 10. Did you just say 7?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I still have like Manu Bennett. And
still on the higher end, so I'm good.
So Manu Bennett and
so this is the part.
Bryan Hurst.
This is the part. Speaking of, that I want to take a few minutes. I mean, we're definitely running long, but I want to take a few minutes to give you an opportunity to talk to the camera, talk to the fans, tell them.
I love you, camera.
Tell them what you've been up to and what you're doing and where they can find you, and take it away.
Right now, I'm working on Artemis portraits, commissions for the holidays. Trying to get that stuff done to the point where hands go a little wonky. And when that happens, I work on digital art. for, again, Artemis, but I can put it up on my t-shirt page, and hopefully people buy those, which is on TeePublic, and Bryan will probably put up all this stuff in the links below.
I'll make sure all the links that we'll put them in the description of the video, because I'm still working out all the bugs on the whole putting up the links in the middle of videos.
Like, if it says subscribe here, there's probably not going to be a subscribe here.
Yeah, not yet.
Because
I'm still working.
I can hold up a paper sign, but there's not going to be a link there.
And you can't click it; it won't work.
Yeah, you can try. You'll be like, nothing is happening. But yeah, I'm working on Artemis commissions for the holidays. I got a couple of those going on. I can't show some of them because I don't know who is a subscriber and who is not a subscriber but still watches your videos. If you do that, press the subscribe button, which will probably be right here, I'm assuming.
Close. Yeah, pretty close.
Subscribe button. But yeah, and besides commissions, I am working on hopefully shooting for summer of 2020. We are trying to get a venue in line to host it, but Artemis Portraits is going to be hosting a charity fundraiser to benefit the two children's programs at the Tippecanoe Arts Federation. So the two children's programs are Outreach and the After School Arts programs, or ASAP. So I'm doing 10 portraits, 10 celebrity portraits that are going to be signed by the celebrities, and we're either going to auction or raffle them off. Again, gotta get
depends on the venue.
Kinks falling into place first. All the big things falling into place before the little things fall into place. But anyway, there's going to be 10 signed portraits. It's probably going to be some other signed work and other art up for sale. I've got a couple artist friends that are also donating some of their pieces that are going to be auctioned off.
Just because
trying to make it bigger and better, but again, pieces of the puzzle falling into place.
Just because I know how this whole editing thing is going to work, we're going to take 1 second real quick to cut away to the 10 celebs that she has already got on board. Super excited. Some of these are friends of ours now over time. We've actually talked to them now enough that
made friends with some of them personally, and
but they're all awesome people.
Actually, I think all of them.
At least
personally.
Yeah, yeah.
Talk to personally at least.
So here we'll do the you want to do the Wayne's World thing. And so you got a chance to take a look at those 10 amazing people that are going to be involved.
Who did we have pictured? We had
well, they're going to be able to read. I'm going to put the names of everybody on there.
Okay.
And then obviously follow the links to keep tabs on things. Follow Artemis on Twitter,
feel free to follow them.
Oh, yes.
On their social media, Twitter, Instagram. Some of them Instagram more than Twitter. They just kind of copy their Instagram to Twitter. So Instagram tends to be a lot more fun with some of them. So Ross Marquand, he is one of those. Very strange cat, very colorful cat. Love him. So he's a very fun guy.
Is there anything else you want to share with them before we cut and I go back to the studio to mix all this stuff together?
Well, currently right now, my company, Artemis Portraits, which is artemisportrait.com, no S. We are doing through November, 20% of sales are going to dogsforbetterlives.org. And then if you go to the t-shirt site at tpublic.com, and look for Artemis Portrait. Any of the Angel Theory designs, t-shirts or products, 100% of those proceeds go to dogsforbetterlives.org through the end of November, and then every month actually we'll be doing 20% of sales to another charity. I'll be posting the charity of the month on the website, so no matter what happens, 20% of the sales go to charity, so or 20% of proceeds, I should say. You know, you gotta pay taxes and, you know, business stuff. So, but yeah, so we're doing that. Got a couple new designs up and out. Just got a new design. I posted up on Twitter for Prodigal Son, which...
It's a great show.
It really is. You need to watch it. If you liked Jesus on Walking Dead, Tom Payne, his Twitter is @JustinActor. He is in that show with Lou Diamond Phillips, who was actually the motivation for the charity fundraiser that Artemis is doing this upcoming summer. So, make-believe game of Twitter tag. Hey, there's an imaginary game I played as an adult. Game of Twitter tag with Lou Diamond Phillips kicked off the whole charity fundraiser thing. So now I get to talk to him all the time, which is great. But yeah, he's in it too, and looks great in the turtlenecks and sports coats. So another reason why you're 7.
Well, all right. If that's now, you already did your artemisportrait.com. What is your
all of my social media is Artemis Portrait with an 8. So it's PORTR and the number 8.
So and I'll put that in the description of the videos. In fact,
you can put my logo banner up.
I might actually put it at the bottom of this because I can do text. I can't do links, but I can do text.
That works too.
Awesome. Well then, is there anything else you want to say, or should we just kind of wave and we'll PG-13. All right. So I'll see you guys in a couple minutes in the studio. All right. There we go. Now I got it. That thing is gonna render for 1,000,000 years.
That's okay. But see, I listed the 3 people that made you 7. Right?
So I hope you guys enjoyed that. Got some cool information. Got to meet my wife. Actually, I've talked about her enough on here that you guys got a chance to actually meet her. And I think that it went well. Again, went a little bit long. Hope you guys stuck with it the whole time, because the question giver that won the All Souls Night and map from Dungeon in a Box is Mrs. Kelly Mathis. Ta-da! So Kelly, as I know that you're probably watching this, hopefully you're watching this before the package gets to you. I'm gonna get these in an envelope and send it out to you probably tomorrow. So awesome, guys. The interview was fun. I love the idea of doing contests. I'm probably gonna try and do some more when I get a chance to put some stuff together. Awesome. It's just been a good week. I hope that was a good video for you guys, and the episode was fun. Make sure you put it in the comments below. Follow all the links that we talked about in the description. And we'll see you again next week. I don't know what my topic's going to be next week yet. We'll still figure that out. Maybe I'll do a poll on my Facebook page. Yeah. So we'll see you in a week. Please like, share, comment, subscribe. You know how that goes. Tell your friends, tell your family, tell your loved ones. But more than anything, as I say each and every time, go out there, have fun, and play some games. We'll see you next week.